Showing how to download, install and use the FastX remote desktop client that we have installed on CHPC servers. So the first thing which everybody should do is to go to CHPC's wiki page, wiki.chpcu.edu, and then type FastX in the search window over here. And it will come up with a page that describes the process. So that's useful to read as well. First thing we want to do is to install FastX. So we have all the clients downloadable at this link. So when I go and click on it, I need to authenticate with my unit. And that gives us the page where we can download the clients. The first two are for Linux, this one's for a Mac, these two are for Windows, and this is for a non-root installation on Windows. So once we download these installers and install them, we end up with the client available, and I already have it installed. So I click on it to open it, and so we will get the window. And I already have a few of the hosts defined here, but you will start with a clean one. You will need to install license. That's another thing that you will need to do at the first start. It will prompt you for a license, and the license is actually in this license info file on the website. The information, you need to click on a license server option for the licensing, and then when you open this file, you will see the name of the license server. And my Mac is very slow. There we go. So the license server is flexvm inscc.edu, so that's that host name, and then the 5053 will be the port. Yeah, so that will give us the license information. Then we want to define what server we want to go to, and we have general purpose machines for this remote desktop connection that are called Frisco. There is 8 of them, Frisco 1 through Frisco 8. The first 4 are for general applications. The second 4 are for more graphically intense applications using virtual GL acceleration. So I'm going to actually go to the number 5, to Frisco 5, just so we can look at how the virtual GL works. So first I'll name my session Frisco 5, and we need to type the IP or the host name of the machine. So that would be .chpc.edu, and then your username will be your unit. So this will be my unit. I save. So now we save the definition. In order to connect, you double click on it, and it will prompt you a password. And in the password, well, the first actually, yes. So first it will prompt you with the SSH authentication request. So you type yes that we want to authenticate using SSH, and then the second will be the password prompt. And the yes will be needed only at the first connection. We won't need to do it in subsequent connections. So now we type the password, and we are connected to the server. And I actually already have one here, so I'm going to close it. And in order to start a new session, you have options here. I highly unrecommend these two. That will give you 2 remote desktop using the GNOME and KDE window managers, which are relatively heavyweight. So if you are on a slower connection, for example from home, these things will be very slow. So I don't recommend these. Xterm will open just a single Xterm window, single terminal from which you can then start graphical applications like MATLAB and stuff like that. So that's useful if you just run a single app in your on a remote connection to the CHPC machines. What I recommend for a remote desktop is XFCE. So I already have this defined here, but I'll click a new to show you what you need to do. So you need to first type the path to the launcher for the remote desktop or for a desktop application. So it's FXFCE4-session. And then we want to open it as a desktop, and this is going to be the size. Or you can define your own size for a desktop. 1028 by 800, 1024 by 800 is okay. It really depends on the desktop, on the size of your display, on what desktop size you want to do. And so once you click OK, it will start a new remote desktop session. And so maybe we'll hang on for a few minutes. There we go. So now it started the remote desktop session. Unfortunately, on the Mac, it always opens the size not really the best fit to the format of your window, but they have this useful setting here to resize your desktop. So if you click on that, it will actually resize it to the size that is the size of the window that we have locally over here. And generally what I like to do then, so now we basically have a full desktop running on the remote machine. I like to open terminal, and then from the terminal I open the applications that I'm interested in. Now with the terminal open, we usually either do commands to look at, say, files, or look at jobs on the clusters, things like that, or it can run a GUI-based application. So I can, for example, start MATLAB, and I like to put it in the background with the ampersand so I can still use the terminal window. So you can see we're starting now the GUI-based MATLAB, so it will start the graphics and start the whole GUI, the MATLAB GUI development window or environment, and we can do everything that we would be used to do on our own desktop in the MATLAB. So for example, I can just define some variables. And then do plotting. Everything's in the graphics like it is. Now what we can also do is we can put our computer to sleep and wake it up again. So what I'm going to do, instead of putting to sleep, since I'm recording a video here, I'm going to close the FastX, and actually there's two windows. One is the actual remote desktop, and the other is the application itself. So I close everything. Now we can put the computer to sleep, wake it up again somewhere else, and then in order to reconnect to our remote desktop session, we need to open the FastX client again and reconnect to that server that we've been running our thing. So double click on the definition that I have and authenticate with the password. And then our remote session is showed up over here. So that's then double clicking on that. And if you can have multiple of these sessions opened. So you just double click on whichever one you want to start, and then unfortunately the Mac client keeps stubbornly opening the same window size, which I don't like, so I need to resize it, and then go to resize desktop again, and here is my session again, and then I can pick on what I've been doing and continue on my work. So that concludes the FastX tutorial. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to contact us at issues.chpc.com.